All right, let's dive into a pretty big topic for any modern business: finance transformation. We're going to explore how a finance team can evolve, from just being a historical scorekeeper into an absolutely essential forward-looking strategic partner. Let's get into it.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to dig into the urgent reasons why this kind of change is basically non-negotiable now. Then, we'll lay out a practical roadmap to get you started. After that, we'll look at the three core pillars that really power the whole thing. And finally, we'll see what it actually looks like when you reach your destination, becoming that true strategic partner.
Okay, so let's kick things off with that urgent call for a new approach. Because the reality is, in today's world, the old way of doing finance, just reporting the numbers after the fact, it just doesn't cut it anymore. Not even close.
So let me ask you this, and be honest. Is your finance team spending most of its time and energy just putting together reports about what happened last month or last quarter? If the answer is yes, you're basically trying to drive your business forward by looking only in the rearview mirror. The whole point of this transformation is to get your eyes on the road ahead. And look, this push for change isn't just some nice-to-have internal project. The world outside is demanding it. You've got crazy economic volatility, constant digital disruption, and a whole new world of ESG requirements. To compete, or even just to survive, businesses need real-time, forward-looking guidance. This isn't an option anymore. It's an absolute must. So if we all agree on the why, the next logical question is how? And that brings us to part 2, building your transformation roadmap. A journey this big, this important, well, you can't just wing it. You need a structured, thought-out plan to have any chance of success. And the starting point, the absolute ground zero, is a really thorough diagnostic. You have to be brutally honest about where you are right now. Once you have that solid foundation, then you can define a clear vision of where you want to go, pick out the initiatives that'll give you the most bang for your buck, and build a practical, phased roadmap, one that mixes some quick wins to build momentum with those big, long-term goals. And let's be super clear that first assessment phase is everything. It's where you find all the real pain points and the hidden inefficiencies. It's so critical, in fact, that it's often where companies bring in some outside help. Top finance transformation consulting services providers like WNS or IBM, who are mentioned in our source material, can really help accelerate progress and make sure you're charting the right course right from day one.
All right, so now that we've got our map, we need an engine to actually move the car. And that brings us to part 3. Think of these as the core components that are going to power this entire journey from beginning to end. We're going to focus on 3 foundational pillars that have to work together: process, technology, and data. Getting these 3 right isn't just important, it's the whole ballgame. First up, process excellence. This is the bedrock. Think about it. If your team is burning 40 hours just manually jamming spreadsheets together to close the books every month, that classic record-to-report process, that's a whole week of strategic thinking just flushed down the drain. Process excellence is all about redesigning those workflows to kill that waste and free up your smartest people to focus on strategy, not just typing numbers.
Next up is technology modernization, and this is the great enabler. This is where you bring in integrated tools like cloud ERPs, AI, and automation to create one single source of truth for your financial data. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Technology is supposed to empower great processes, not just put a shiny digital wrapper on your old, inefficient ones. And the third pillar, data and analytics. This is where the real magic happens. It's about finally treating your data like the strategic asset it is. By using advanced analytics, finance can finally stop answering what happened and start tackling the questions that really matter. What's going to happen? And even better, what should we do about it?
Okay, so we've got our roadmap and our engine. Let's bring it all home. Part 4 is all about reaching the destination, moving from a plan to a true strategic partner. This is where we see the real, tangible results of this whole journey.
This slide just says it all, doesn't it? It's the perfect before and after. Look at the shift here. The role changes from scorekeeper to strategic partner. The focus goes from stale historical reports to forward-looking guidance. And the value your team brings to the business, it's no longer about manual number crunching, it's about providing the insights needed for critical strategic decisions. It's a total identity change. And these benefits aren't just some vague concepts. They're concrete, measurable wins. We're talking about faster financial closes, which means the business gets critical information sooner. We're talking about a massive improvement in forecast accuracy, which leads to way smarter planning. And yes, a real significant drop in operating costs. There's a very clear return on this investment.
Now, of course, a journey like this isn't without its challenges. It's so important to know about the common pitfalls that can sink you. Things like having an unclear vision, not getting real buy-in from your top executives, or just ignoring the human side of change. These are classic stumbling blocks. And a big one our source material warns about, focusing only on cutting costs. If that's your only goal, you're missing the entire point. Knowing these risks up front is half the battle.
So we'll end on this thought. The future of every successful company is going to be insight-driven. A successful finance transformation gives your team the power not just to be part of that future, but to actually lead it. So the only real question left is, are you ready?